Anyways,
What are we talking
recording.
about?
Anyways,
What is this about? I
so
don't understand what's happening right now.
okay,
What are we here
I wanna
for?
propose
Oh,
something.
you're proposing something.
Yes,
I'm
let's do it.
I'll
proposing an
reply
idea.
like we're just here and
We were just here. We were just having a conversation, and now I have this idea. I brought you both to this business
uh,
meeting, and I have this idea. This is this is how I play. Um,
Moses and David and
Does that involve the
Christ.
nuclear bomb?
Moses, David, Christ, right? See, that's what we're over here.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, I just
Yeah.
like I don't even remember what I mean. Just obviously the symbolic air that you two were talking about in the episodes that you've already done. I'm like, oh yeah, of course I want to get in on that because I like the symbolism and the like what do these energies like in general, masculine, feminine, sexual versus social versus instinct, like what are all these things doing and why, and like just kind of how they show up in personality, in the collective, and whatever. So I had this like random moment that one night, I don't remember why, but I watched like it had to have been like an hour-long video on mimicry in animals. So Moses, do you know about mimicry in animals? I would assume so.
Mimicry, yeah. I'm gonna be so honest. I haven't seriously studied animals in a long fucking time. But
Okay.
yeah, like most of my information comes from sometimes it will come from documentaries, other times it's been
Well, that was the
segments
only
of shorts
reason
here and there.
Kristen had you on, so
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
you
she can
can
school me.
you,
But
no,
no,
no, so you can be
but
the expert.
I know
yeah,
nothing
so
about
Now you're going to be
yeah,
totally
but
incompetent and
yeah, so yeah, but mimicry in animals, yeah. It's like yeah, like are you thinking about like the in the context of mating or the
camouflage
oh
and
yeah,
hunting
mating.
right.
also.
Yeah, so like in their evolutionary process, like and it is totally normal and natural for animals to develop types of like mimicry that either, there's all different kinds,
It'd
and
be like
yeah,
like something on
Yeah.
their hide that'll look like an eye somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Mm.
right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, the tiger's ears has
Yeah.
the white spot, so it looks like eyes when they're drinking
Right.
water and like that kind of thing.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's
Like
Trickster. It's like the
Yeah,
trickster
yeah.
yeah. And there's definitely some camouflage in what frogs do, what insects
yeah.
do. Like sometimes they do it
Sure.
to avoid predators. In other cases, like some people, like I'm thinking of like mimicry, in which like where's the need to survive, in which like some children will copy after their parents, or they'll even adapt to the human environment, which like we see like seagulls, bears changing their diets because of
Yeah.
the Industrial Revolution.
Like yeah, and that's why I'm like
Pigeons.
their literal like genetic makeup will
Yeah.
change in order to adapt to different needs, and whether that's like self-pres needs, social needs. But I'm wondering if there is that like sexual component of like when an animal is choosing its mate, like unconsciously. I mean, technically, all animals are mostly like unconscious in like our sense. They don't think about like
Right.
they don't have thoughts.
Right.
They
Yeah.
think in other ways. They have different intelligences. But yeah, like when I'm using the word unconscious, mainly because like they don't have a lot of psychological, mental intellect at play in their choices. But anyway, so like when they're choosing a mate, like there has to be something in the timeline of them choosing a mate that like they start to prefer certain physiological like possibilities in their species. So like if
Right.
they're the fact that some species are more social than others obviously means that majority of the species started to prefer in their mating like whatever you would like seasons, like they're thinking somewhere in their genetic makeup, they're like, oh, I want that thing that animal displays, and so I want that in my genetic pool, like
Yeah.
there's some kind of unconscious choice happening that would have to like propel the species forward to preferable traits, whether self-pres or social or aesthetic or whatever, that's like I need that in my gene pool, right? And like it's gonna lead somewhere, I don't necessarily know where, but it's gonna be something beneficial to my species survival, right?
Yeah,
So like
yes. Some of
that's
it
kind
is
of where I'm
yeah.
placing that.
Yeah, some of it is where within like a preserving the lineage. That's really interesting. And
Yes.
I'm thinking of like deer or elephants who fight for or and basically any animal or mammal who fight for sexual competition. Like everything's for, who is the best, like who's got, the biggest, brightest feathers, who's the strongest, who's the most violent, who's gonna like who's got the shaggy, sexy mane and whatever. Who's the one wow. Who's the one that's the bigger, the most I don't want to say ages, but the most beastly beast
Yes. Yeah.
to ever compete. Where so that could definitely lean into some survival realm, and can also speak onto maybe like I'm not so sure about what happens to the loser. Like maybe he dies off or wanders around like a penguin and then starves to death, or gets eaten by hyenas. But it's like yeah, like the one who is the most is
Yeah.
the one that's going to be the most interesting. But
But
I'm also thinking about bonobos or chimpanzees or some animals who actually don't use sex for lineage. They actually use it for connection or for their own self-interest. Like bonobos are very polyamorous, for example.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking about, like we were talking earlier, about animals that use mimicry or trickery in order to hunt or, to capture prey. So they're being a trickster in the sense that, the relationship between sexuality and quote unquote hunger and hunt and biting your teeth, and like when you see two big cats, two lions or whatever mating, there's often they're the female, as if she's going to bite into him, and the male's doing the same, and there's that thing of sort of being on the edge of death,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and slicing into, wanting to eat the flesh. I'm just also thinking of, how that metaphor, that kind of symbolism comes through with human beings, sort of instinctually, poetically, intuitively, like hungry for you, thirst
Right.
trap,
Right.
things like that. So there's that whole
Yeah. Meat market.
wanting, yeah, meat market, wanting to take in. There's a relationship between, you could say, killing, right, and
Right.
mating, and finding the right mate to kill.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
why I was gonna say, like, with these choices, like whatever, however it happens, there's plenty of moments where they're not necessarily always choosing like the best.
Sure.
But they are taking the opportunity to like, is this something my species might need? Is this something that like it's almost like in the moment of like whatever evolutionary process that they're choosing a mate, and they're what is it, like discerning whether or not to like carry children with this potential mate, that it's like in that moment it's like they don't know if it's going to be beneficial or not. They're kind of going straight off of like, do I like this? Is this good for the future of my species? Like it's almost all instincts meeting in one place.
This to me gets into a sort of almost philosophical thing, because to me, well, my perspective would be that an animal wanting to mate, who's looking at other potential mates, is really essentially just going to go to sort of use your word unconscious. It's just going to
Yeah.
unconsciously go towards what's actually a turn on. Like,
Yes,
it's
yeah,
not,
that's what, and
and, and so my point is to separate it away from, and I know you don't mean that they're literally thinking about the
Yeah.
offspring that they're going to have, right? But
yeah, no,
Well-
I'm giving them a human
Right.
narrative.
right.
Yeah.
But like you could say that maybe the attraction to a certain kinds of qualities in females or males, whichever way it's going, that is having, that's developing naturally, as instinctually, right? For
Yes.
things are morphing towards more and more of a certain behavior or specialty.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why like sometimes it's not always like for the best. Like there are so many evolutions like in mimicry, there's a type of mimicry, I don't know the name of it, but it's the kind where it's like very very small subtle changes like a certain kind of okay, like for example with snakes. You have like the corn snake, but then there's like 2 or 3 other different species of snake that mimic the corn
Oh,
snake.
yeah, right.
Just because it's
Wild.
like, oh, that guy's got a cool coat, and if I had that coat,
Yeah.
I could like people would leave
Yeah.
me alone because they think I'm venomous, like that kind of thing.
Right.
That type
Or
of
that code
mimicry.
attracts a certain prey.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That it's like that type of mimicry is the kind where there have been tons of species that have gone like extinct because didn't work for them very well.
And they didn't adapt
Yeah. So it's just
to
like,
fucking accent.
yeah, and I'm like wondering, it's just so interesting, like on the instinctual level, but just kind of as like an aesthetic thing, like what all unconscious, because this is when we're talking about animals, we're talking about pure
Right.
instinct. So the difference with us is we do have pure instinct, but we also have the intellect, which is going to have to think about our instincts, which
Yes.
is like already different. But yeah, like if they have like they're going off of pure instinct, which is they take risks and they make choices without fully having an intellect to understand those choices, and like but something is driving them towards like being attracted to or being repulsed by, and it's all kinds of characteristics that are not just like good or bad or whatever. It's just kind of like based on the moment, like how interesting that is compared to then humans having that pure instinct. So something other than them are kind of like driving something forward, and something internal and something that's also collective based, because your instincts don't just operate alone, but like, yeah.
I mean, just to further, I guess, crank up where I was going is, I think this is maybe Camille Paglia-esque, but I think, libido, horniness is a trick. I mean, you don't, you want to have sex, you don't want to have a baby, right? You want to have sex, right? And so, oops, a baby, and then what I mean. And I think that's what it is for animals, generally speaking.
It's actually kind of interesting because, like, I guess it depends on what kind of animal. Like, there are some animals that actually eat their babies.
Yeah.
Sometimes for scarcity, sometimes because there's a
do
scarcity
that.
of food, other times it's like, it's something they don't want to deal with another responsibility because like they could go, fuck
That's
another
what I do.
animal later. Yeah.
Well, but I think that like I would disagree with that, David, because I do think your other, like, I mean, since we're talking Enneagram, we have 2 other instincts, that your other instincts are they don't operate alone. Like instinctually animals do have sex because it does prolong their species. They do know at some degree that they're going to have a baby. They literally have it embedded in their DNA, how to make nests, how to care for your young when you don't have enough needs to care for your young and you have to eat them or something like toss them to the side. Like all these things are already built up in your genetics, that like it's not just like, oops, there's one, I guess I gotta deal with this now. Like you already have the instincts to know that you're going to deal with it.
I guess
Yeah,
like
it's kind of-
like where I'm going partly though is, if there's a mating season, that season is when you're horny, right? And then
Right.
you can do building nests and other kinds of things similar to that are pragmatic, let's say, outside of the mating season. But to me, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
But even the mating season is correlated towards self-pres needs. Like usually mating seasons are when like, okay, I've got my food, it's nice weather out now, the environment's like it's all the self-pres needs are being met, and it's like, okay,
True.
this is the time to
Fruit
raise
is
the
plentiful,
babies,
yeah.
because if I that's why spring and summer are the big mating seasons, whereas winter they're not mating because you're like fighting for survival at that point. Why would you raise kids in the winter,
Yeah, and then this is also where kids are going to grow up and do the same thing again and again and again. And like I'm also thinking of like the mating season being the big, sexual explosion orgy. And then having to nest is that kind of sobriety is like, okay, I'm ready for this to decline and die down for the next generation to do that exact same pattern.
Yeah, I think there's a built-in, like, that's why I think definitely all three instincts are like always operating together. I don't think there's like one, even though you do prefer one as your dominant instinct because of whatever reasons you want to get into, but like they're all happening together and they don't stray away from one another.
Okay, so if I'm a male panther and I just want to have an orgasm in a female, not that I would ever, be that way. But,
Why would you not?
but well. So, what do you think's going? So, tell me what's happening with my instincts, Kristen. I mean, what's
I don't think an animal's just like, I want to have an orgasm. I think they know
no,
that
it's
they
not.
need
No, it's not. I want to have an orgasm. It's like their body is propelling them towards putting it in something.
Yeah, totally. I think it's propelled, and that's where I think like instincts. I mean, for animals, we can observe that they're unconscious, so they're operating off of like their pure animal instinct. And somewhere embedded in that instinct is knowing to, again, baseline survival, like needing your species to survive. Like, I think that's going to be enough to propel you forward into mating with other.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no. I mean, that's a lot of consciousness.
Like,
my species needing to survive. That's arcing out into the future. I mean, an animal is just here right now.
No, it is present. It's literally like I'm going to survive
when I have sex.
Yeah, like I mean, this can kind of get into different ways. Where it's like, first and foremost, like, do we ever know the psychology or the thoughts of an animal? Like, we can get hints in here and there, but it's like,
Well, Kristen thinks she knows.
Yeah, I bet.
And I think I know.
But yeah, it's like, I think that's really something that's really to study for. Is like, could we just say that every animal wants to survive, just wants to prolong their species, like every human being wants to survive their species?
Not everyone does.
No.
Yeah, because like then you have to like which animals have pleasure receptors. Some animals don't have the pleasure receptor where they have sex and they're like, oh, that's fun. Whereas like they've known that dolphins do have that type of pleasure, so they will have sex for fun. But not all animals do. You know what I mean? So it isn't always an act that is pleasurable, and I want that thing based off of some kind of drive.
I don't think it's necessarily dependent on the pleasure, although that's going to make for a certain, I don't know, whatever kind of added drive or whatever. But I think there is still some kind of bodily compulsion to expel seed or whatever.
Yeah, to prolong the species.
No, but that's like
I mean, seed for.
But that's how's that? How does that work? I mean, how would an animal be thinking about propelling my species? I'm a species.
The thing is,
because it's instinctual.
Yeah, like it's
what does
very
that look like?
unconscious.
That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me still.
I think it kind of comes to where it's like, there's kind of the unconscious of like, what exactly are the instincts thinking, rather than what is the like actual plan from up here? Like, yes, like an animal's thinking, yes, I'm going to prolong the species. Like, I have a plan.
It's not that.
Well,
like an animal is like, I want to expel
the more
my
baseline
seed,
animal version of that as an instinct. I mean,
it is like literally, like it is an instinct is a fixed pattern of behavior, which means you don't need to have any reason to be doing it. It is that your species has been doing it. It is like literally in the musculature of your body to know this is what I do.
I guess I'm trying to get clarity around that an animal is doing it to, I mean, that the drive is to propel the species. You know what I'm saying? I think that I mean, I'm just repeating myself, that they just want to have sex. They're not necessarily, yes, the species is going to go forward from that, and that's part of why they have that instinct. But I mean, it sounds like too much vision or whatever to
Well, because that's
Yeah.
how I can describe it. I mean,
Yeah.
I could agree with you in the instinctual, like whatever is there. Obviously, it's kind of like a blank slate, and their body's just going for it.
Yeah.
And so, like whatever's in the juice of moving their muscles
Yeah.
forward, I could agree that it could probably be lots of different things. That is not just about propelling the species. But I also don't think it's just about having sex either, because there's tons of animals that you look and it's like, okay, they don't have any other reason to be having sex other than to propel their species.
Well, what do you mean?
If
Like,
they
what's an
aren't,
example? What do you mean?
Like that.
like if they aren't, they don't have pleasure receptors. And then you also think like how many of the female animals like obviously just don't look like they're enjoying themselves when they're having sex.
Yeah,
So like,
it's like-
what else
Well-
is the point?
Well, that my point is that they just know that they want to be entered, and the male knows he wants to enter, and it's not there's not a conscious thing about that a offspring is going to
I
come.
think also, okay, what about this? Like we're saying either it's like either they're doing stuff just to have sex or they're prolonging the species. The other thing is too is like to have that kind of drive to have sex and prolong the species, like in that little in between moment where the musculature is heading towards something like that. I also think just the power of like literally like generating life. So maybe it's not completely like, oh, my species is going to survive, but even just the power to
Life force.
generate life
Yeah.
is going to be in that movement.
Yeah, no, I could imagine that wanting to
Yeah,
see
anyways,
life force,
yeah.
Yes, life
Yeah.
force. Yeah.
be a spewer.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of like, oh yeah, like to kind of go back to where where does masculinity and femininity show up with the mating dance and with the sexual drive. It's like it's kind of interesting, like if I like separate it with humans, where with the male is typically the one in ostentatious or colorful display. Like we have the red cardinal versus the gray cardinal. We have the blue peacock versus the boring gray peahen, and we have the lion's mane versus the bald lioness. And versus this kind of a weird inversing where it's like with human beings. Men, like, have you seen that phenomenon where like generally where men would like, be all up in their clothes or like, I don't know, wearing a black tuxedo, and women would be wearing colorful dresses or suits, or in music videos where men would be just the ones wearing the shirt and pants and women would have like nothing but a bikini on. There's like that kind of interesting contrast. I don't know, like generally heterosexual and male gaze, where it's like the fear of like actually and this kind of like general fear of frontal nudity as well. And like the general fear of like, actually like stripping myself naked in men, which, it's kind of changing now, and it's kind of rare to see. But generally, it's like the men typically don't want to strip themselves naked, and they want to like, they have like all these women with, bikinis or like skimpy dresses all around them. It's like they find them sexually attractive, but it's like, where is, exhibiting my sense of attractiveness besides, the clothes or the status or this thing that I have already worked so hard to get up to.
One thing you can say with human males, is that the peacock display, the colors are personality, confidence, charisma, presence. That's the big feather display is skill, mastery, and again, confidence, right? It's like that's sort of the plumage in humans often is that piece. One thing I do, I think I started to talk with you about it, Kristen, is with the triangle, with my overlaps and social. Social on the right is masculine. Self-pres on the left is feminine. Self-pres, earth, mother, moon, matter, material, etc., mater, right? And social is the rooster and that kind of thing. And And so that's why in the animal kingdom, I think the thing, because there's not an equivalent, there's not quite the equivalent of with human beings, although confidence in the animal world as well, and mastery attracts and so forth.
Yeah.
So there's a whole, it's sort of like what you are in relation to others. There's a hierarchical thing that attracts women, right? Is often the case, right? Is and you might say, people often say self-pres socials are thinking it's all about the money, but it's more than anything, it's where that places you in the social hierarchy, and what you had to do. They're not thinking about this, but I'm talking about the instinctual human female, right? Is why there's an attraction there is because unconsciously she knows, broad brushstroke here, that he had to do a lot of competing and a lot of disagreeing and pecking fights and so forth to get somewhere against other males. And so now this is a formidable male, and this is someone I should mate with, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I also think it definitely has a lot more to do with like power than it does with like sexuality or like
Right.
like actual kind of more conscious sexuality has not much to do with power or like what you're displaying necessarily like aesthetically, but more
Right.
so just an internal sense of those things. And that's why I find like in animals seeing more of the contradictory ways that like sexuality and the sexual instinct comes up. So okay, for example, you're bringing up like the like males being much more like
Yeah, like a
flamboyantly
dandy.
displayed and yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, you know everyone knows like the thing with the bowerbird, how like the bowerbird dance, that whole thing. A part of this mimicry thing though, which I thought was so interesting, and I've actually never heard of this, was that so the young male bowerbirds, often called green birds, because they are indistinguishable from females in color. With olive green upper parts and off-white scalloped underparts, they're essentially mimics, and their coloration remains this way until they start acquiring their adult blue-black plumage, which they can begin around age 5. So essentially what happens is that the male bowerbird looks like a female bowerbird
Right.
to learn from the male bowerbird. So other
Oh,
male
that's
bowerbirds are actually
interesting.
hitting on
Yeah,
young
that's funny. That's
male bowerbirds so
Yeah,
that the
it's-
young male bowerbirds can learn how to do it.
Yeah, it's
good
kind
use
of like it's
pedophilia.
yeah, kind of that bisexual appeal. Yeah, it's really interesting
Yeah,
because it's like some animals. Yeah, everyone's pansexual, whether you like it or not, especially you, David. and
Yep.
and it's like some like interesting that some animals actually do are hermaphrodites, like what's it, clownfish? Yeah, clownfish. Where if a female dies, then a male would basically switch its sex to
Oh, really?
Yeah.
take
That's
place. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
that
So
does
there's
happen.
there's yep, and in this video too, maybe I'll put a link of the video I'm talking about in the description if anyone wants
Please.
to watch an hour-long video about mimicry.
Yep.
But male fish also will look like female, especially if they're smaller
Right.
in size. They will disguise themselves. Male
Right.
fish mimic females to mate. Notably, cuttlefish distinguish itself with female coloration and even tucks its arms to sneak past dominant males and inseminate a female. Like, that's insane.
So this
That's
gets
interesting.
at, like,
Yeah.
planet Earth is female home planet, right? And the male has to do something. You know what I mean? The male has to become something. That's
Yeah.
sort of the problem of
Yeah.
masculinity is you have to produce, you have to become, you have to prove, you have to da 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 da, right? That whole thing.
Actually-
Otherwise, I mean, isn't it true also humans? Like there's like our genitalia, doesn't it? Isn't it something like that too, where everyone's semi whatever hermaphroditic at the onset?
Oh,
Yeah, like every like
something
sex
like
is
that. Yeah.
also fluid. Yeah, like there's intersex, there's male, there's female. Like, but some males can have female body parts and vice versa. Yeah,
Right, right.
and like this is just occurring to me right now. Like I'm thinking of a chapter I recently read on Camille Paglia's Sexual Personae, in which basically it covers about books or myths about basically like females or male like females who dress as a man, who they sometimes go to bars or to strip clubs to seduce women. Yeah, that kind of
No way.
covert like bisexual behavior. Yeah. Yeah, and like even with Myra Breckenridge, where like sexuality and gender is fluid, and like basically like Myra Breckenridge is a trans woman technically, so and really the kind of goal of the androgen is that basically it's set to destroy the societal expectation, to basically destroy society. And I think it's kind yeah, and I think it's kind of like very apparent in like some from the Victorian ages to the 1900s because first and foremost we have like LGBTQ plus being a little more accepted nowadays, and
Yeah.
people who were expressing both masculine and feminine in themselves, like people who were androgynous, people who were technically LGBTQ plus, were already inseminated into the culture. They were already accepted. They were
Inseminated.
like it's already inseminated. I don't know if that was a word. Yeah, they were already
No, that's yeah, it's
like
good.
yeah, they were already there. So the need to destroy society, I guess, with what I'm seeing from most people, that need to destroy society is like, no, we want to integrate it to this culture rather than destroying it. And in the past, it's like there was nothing to destroy anyway. We were just starting. But
But
back then, like 100 years ago, it's like that was a whole thing because society already had this rigid gender roles of this is a man, this is a woman, and to be whatever you want to be, people are terrified of that. Yeah,
and that
and
that gets at the in the abstract that um, the destructive aspect of the sexual instinct, which is androgynous, right? And
right.
so there's always that's why there's sort of never a comfortable resting place around
Yeah.
sexuality in general. Like it's sort of always a problem.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
it's
think too,
destruction
this is,
somewhere, you know.
yeah,
Yep.
this kind of to me makes sense in the realm of like us having the intellect and having psychology, and like we have a conscious versus unconscious like mind and interaction happening. That to me, it's like I. I think this is why it is always really hard to talk about the sexual instinct and what is in it
Right.
because like to everybody it's so unique because part of what you're attracted to or repulsed by is incredibly unconscious. Like
Yeah.
your
Right.
partner is not just like,
Sure.
oh, your aesthetic choices and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
like
No, no, no.
social blah blah blah.
Right.
Like there's something they contain that is so unconscious and it tricks you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's why every like
Trick.
people get mad when they're attracted to someone that
Right.
I think they're this way, but then they turn out to be this
Right.
way. And it's like because
Ah,
you hate being tricked, you
Yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah.
And
yeah.
like
It's
part of the yeah, part of
Trickster.
the I think like all three instincts interacting and why I think
Yeah.
then anyone of any instinctual stacking has no bet like leg up against what happens when you are being tricked and
Yes.
like
yeah.
and not just like tricked like oh someone just lied to you or whatever. It's literally like when you get into a relationship with someone, you fall in love with them, whatever, and like you know part of that though is that you are being tricked by the unconscious. Like
Yeah.
you don't realize what you're about to meet about
Oh, yeah.
yourself
Yeah, yeah.
when you're with this person
Right.
until
Yeah.
the whole thing plays
Yeah.
out and then you're like oh shit like
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Jung
It's
had a
like
thing. Didn't he say something like, I don't know, falling in love is like it just completely opens up the portal to the unconscious. Like there's nothing,
Yeah, and that's why he
Yes.
thought like the anima or animus, which is your contrasexual whatever internal figure, is a bridge to the unconscious.
Right,
It's a
right.
bridge to
Yep, there you
understanding
go.
unconscious material, and it's not meant to be
And
like. Of course, it needs to be as powerful to be projected sexually, but then it's not a sexual partner.
Right.
It's an internal partner,
and that
like
again,
understanding that.
and then in symbolic realm, like that gets at Hermes and the
Yeah.
shapeshift Mercury, right, and mercurial, right, and the like Hermes and Aphrodite is hermaphrodite, right, and so it's like Hermes is the bridge to the underworld and male and female, and et
Yes.
cetera, et cetera. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and Aphrodite is Venus. Is that Venus? Is Aphrodite
Yeah.
Venus? Ah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Like Mercury and Venus coming together. That's
Right.
Oh, that's
And so-
that's really cool.
And it's interesting when the planets, right? Like if say the sun is, the creator or whatever, or the life force that generated everything, and then we've got Mercury and Venus, closest to the sun, and they're and there's our masculine and feminine, just like that is and then Mars on the other side is war, and we've got I don't know where I was going with that, but it's like
Yeah, like Mars is like the
Go throughout the
polarization.
solar system.
Yeah, it's like Mars is kind of the polarized, over masculinity, over masculine archetype. Sometimes it's the sex drive, or interpreted as like your desires and like aggression, which like some people in traditional astrology I've heard just like, no, it doesn't mean the sex drive because it's toxic or something. It's like I don't. This is part of me which feels off about it, because it's like sex and death and violence kind of go hand in hand, right?
Right.
And I think there's kind of the general fear of sexual blinds, of like the sexual instinct will be violent, it will be destructive, it will like fuck something up,
Yeah.
and that's kind of a part of it. Where with Venus is the harmonizing, and Mars is the destructive aspect, and Mercury is, I would say, it's sort of in the middle between it.
Yeah, that's where I was going actually, as that started to come to me as you were talking, what I was trying to do, which is Mars masculine, Venus feminine. I mean, those are pretty clear, right? And then Hermes, Mercury, that's the one closest to the life force, and that's the one that is the most gender fluid, and it's closest to you could say the sexual instinct, and that sort of formlessness element there. And it's got the thing, isn't it the smallest planet? So it's and it's right near the sun. So it's almost like the sperm egg relationship in terms of size.
Yeah.
Contrast. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, like I'm also thinking about how like there's also a way where it's like with the sexual instinct being a bridge to the unconscious, and just being kind of the natural thing and the destructive thing as well, is that it's very unpredictable. And how I think we're also caught up on language or labels, or like even like defining orientation on like what is our thing now. Like as I mentioned before, there weren't words or definitions in the past to describe sexual orientation or gender identity, because it's like we didn't need any. It's like where's the need for it? It's like we didn't have, like, we don't think about it. It just happens. Whereas with language, like we're so caught up on language and orientation, and especially with associations that come from it, especially, and that can come in the midst of like some cultural associations of what happened, like of straight, gay, etc. And like some person may say it's like, oh, I'm not gay because it's like I don't appear this way, I don't do that, but then the next thing you know, they're like bottoming with another guy. So yeah, and yeah, it's like, and it's also that what you're like naturally turned on by. It's like like it is very unpredictable. Like you don't know if it's gonna be like like
Right.
like where was I going with this? I think it's also with language wanting to define exactly what your orientation is, or what exactly is this. Like, are you into everybody? But truthfully, nobody's gonna be into everybody. But like are you into, like, are you into guys? Are you into people who look like guys? Are you into, like, people of certain skin colors, hair colors, or people who have these kind of traits, etc. And then all of a sudden this comes up and it's like, oh, that's a whole thing. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like with me, it's like why I don't, there's a part of me that does not like using, identity or orientation or to define my sexuality, because it's like, of course it doesn't happen in like a whole snap, but it's like, I could be sexually into, like, I could be really interested in, this kind of person, and then all of a sudden it's that kind of person and that person and that person, and then it's like, that's a whole thing.
Well, and that's why I think it is more like related to the momentary thing, because you
Yeah.
never know what you're going to be unconscious of until you meet it, and that's
The
why
other
it's like,
mercurial part is that even your type can swish around a little bit, or whatever, or what you in.
yeah, your preferences, and that's why I think, yeah, it's with kind of like this whole idea of the trickster and like the unconscious, like, okay, so things need to be projected, right? And then like this is where even people of with sexual instinct and their stacking, like they also have a hard time being tricked, because they also think that like we were talking about masks earlier, and even the word with sexual persona, you also have like a social persona. So you have these masks
Right.
that you're wearing that you think, this is how I show up, this is how I appear, this is who I am. And even sexual types, this is how I show up, this is what I'm looking for, these are my needs. And like you're kind of relating to the world and the people that are in your life with this mask on. And part of what I think like the sexual instinct in day to day is kind of like bumping up into something that's like, whoa, like, could I take my mask off here? Like, is this
Yeah.
even to sexual types? Like,
Yeah.
there's something I
A
see
new
in this
nudity.
thing. Yes, like, and I see that in animals, like when we were talking about like what is in that like little moment of just, I'm about to have sex in the animal, like, is this whole life-giving thing,
Right.
that it also is the feeling of just like, I am, or I can be more than I am right now. Like that sort of feeling of like, there's not just this, there's not just me. And in humans, when you're dealing with the unconscious, like you're going to meet people, or you're going to be in situations where you get that feeling. Of course, it's going to feel like love, it's going to feel like repulsion, it's going to feel like attraction. It's going to be really strong feeling of like, I am encountering something that is like not just the thing I fucking wake up and have to deal with every day, which is like why there's such a draw to it, and it's completely unknown. It has to be, because, and that's why I don't think you can completely label or put anything into quite the right words with the sexual instinct, because that is completely based on the unconscious of that person. Like what I'm unconscious about is totally different from what you're unconscious about. So what I'm going to find attractive is going to be different from what you are going to find attractive. And therefore, like what you're encountering is going to be completely different from what I'm encountering. And that's why it's like, so much different compared to what people are experiencing in life.
Yeah, and
And it
I
tricks
think,
you, because usually
yeah,
it is a part of yourself that you could be conscious about, but you only learn about it afterwards.
yeah, and
Trickery is you're unconscious of what is going to attract you, right? Or it's in shadow, right? And
Yeah,
then
it's the
right.
trickery is thinking that, or not understanding that this thing has been separate from me, like or that it could not be separate from me.
Yeah, like I'm like we were talking about like masks and personas and persona in like my theater dreams, where it's like if I'm like to not have a mask on, it's like denying, participation altogether, because everyone's gonna have a mask to just, or a label or something fixated on to relate to or to kind of find. And if you show up like completely genreless, it's like, huh? It's like, what are you, like, what am I looking for? It's like, it's interesting, but I'm like, I don't know how to, like this is me and my theories, and I don't know how other people perceive me or perceive this, but it's like, if it's genreless, then other people are like, I have no idea what to do with that, or where to ping into or connect with or to like plug into, because it's like it's this interesting thing, but it's like I have no idea where it came or it comes from. It's like kind of
Yeah.
like this kind of this explosion. It's like we did not ask for that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, the other thing is too, about like the sexual instinct and the social instinct kind of having this similar but very different. But it has to do with like your needs that are being met by another person. Like if self-pres is kind of like us meeting our own needs, which is one thing, like social and sexual both have components of another person meets a need that I have, right? And one of the things that I think with what's helpful with a mask is that like or I guess like it's not necessarily just a mask, but when you realize that you are a body that's wearing a mask, is that like your body does have boundaries and like it's psychologically and physically like shows you that you're an individual, right? Whereas if you're merging, like if you're not wanting to wear a mask and you're not recognizing you have a body and you're just wanting to psychologically like merge in that like sexual, we see this in sexual types all the time, like let's just go straight to the merge state that overlap with 9, that it's like you're erasing your individuality when you do that, and it's like you're not allowing yourself to be the full
Right.
individual that you are. And so it's like there's a way that when conscious about those things, about your needs, how you want to get them met, how you're treating other people as individuals as well, and like what the main I don't know, what the theater of everything, that it is
Right.
theater actually. Like it's dramatic and it is theater. Like when you're recognizing that is when I think it feels a bit more like a conscious participation and awareness that the trickster will be present in all of that than to be
Yeah.
like really shocked by when you do get tricked.
And what you were
Yeah, it's
saying
like
there,
having
like
this.
your needs and how it's going to affect people and what the field is, like that's kind of self-pres and social. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your needs, right? You know what I mean? It's sort of like all, as opposed to, and I'm kind of getting at the overlap of 9 and sexual, like pure sexual. Well, one thing you could say is it's not conscious from this
Yeah.
from this angle that we're hitting on here, like when it's connected, and that's sort of the gets at the problem of type 9, so to speak, is that symbolic or archetypal or metaphorical connection to the sexual, which is formless, it's personalitylessness, and it's not connected to the firmness of form,
Yeah.
and so it's like only the chemistry with something else, right? It's only,
Yeah.
and so I'm not here and the other person's not even there. I'm just the chemistry that does something with them or something, and it has no, it like the lights aren't on, so to speak.
Yes.
There's a kind of non-presence.
Yeah, and it's like complete undifferentiation. Like
Right.
and that's why I do think like sexual instinct work, you will need both the instincts because it or all 3 instincts, because like the differentiating between the 3 allows each of them to
Right.
be more conscious,
Right.
you know, because it is,
Right.
I think sexual instinct really overlaps that like whole psychological
Oh, yeah.
layer of like intermingling you're doing without boundaries all the time. Yeah, and it's the kind of reflecting that you're just wanting to get needs met rather than like showing up as like I'm an individual, you're an individual, and something happens when like the one and one get together, create the third. Like there's something that happens there when it's not something creative, I guess, can happen
Yes.
rather than I'm just getting my needs met. Which I mean, we do kind of treat everyone treats each other like I need to get my needs met
Sure,
a lot
sure.
of the time. But at
Yeah.
a certain point, that start, and when you get tricked enough times, like you realize that
Yeah.
it's not just about that, you know.
Yeah, it's like people even reproach real people or real connections. Like people can just like, oh god, there's this person who I really despise in school, who like basically like his approach to like to girls is basically like hey, how are you? Can I get your number? And I'm like, what is he like?
Wow.
He's not. My thing is that he's not even thinking. Yeah, like he's not even thinking about like
Good plan.
why would the girl be interested in him or what is he doing this
Yeah.
for?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
what is
the creativity of it. Yeah.
yeah, like what is yeah, it's like this is kind of part of why it's like I even am very hesitant in the dating realm where like I don't like to just there are times where I'm like very hesitant to just say I have a crush on you or I like you like no because it's
Yeah.
like I like where is like the person's interest in this like what is the kind of hidden thing behind that object like what is that
Yeah,
Yeah.
being curious. It's curiosity too, which is like
Yeah.
again where the imagination can really like I mean, it could thrive, it could also be destructive, but like
Right.
being
On the
curious
edge
and
of the
imaginative
unknown.
on it.
Right.
Yes,
Curiosity
exactly, yeah.
killed the cat, right?
It sure
So you-
did.
yeah,
Yeah.
destructive, right? And you're at that edge there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's part of what's
Should be
compelling.
furries.
The edge of furry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so that went off to somewhere.
You gotta be
Yeah.
even
Somewhere
into,
else.
and I messed everything up. I know.
Yeah, David kind of messed everything up there.
Yeah, it's your fault, David.
I'm
We
trying to
included a
think
woman, and then all of a sudden you ruin it. I was making it inclusive and welcoming,
Yeah.
and you are
Yeah.
just flopping your dick on the table and ruining it all. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, please contain yourself, David.
Yeah. Moses, I can tell you, don't ever go up to somebody and say, I like you, and what's your phone number? That just,
Yeah,
that's part of your
I know
technique.
that.
Just, okay.
It is not my technique. No.
I mean, that's,
It's like-
that's a bit horrifying to me.
Yeah, it's like
Hey, look.
yeah.
Sometimes it works for
No, no,
people.
I know,
That's
I
all
know.
very nice.
I mean-
yeah, it
Yeah,
depends. It
It
depends.
sometimes works.
No,
like,
I'm just speaking
some-
from my vanity. I can,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like some people like might like it. Some people are just like, yeah, I don't care. Other times it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when it's the first thing or something. That's all.
yeah, it's like there's kind of that assumed value of like extroversion or like, oh, I have to like be social and just like everybody. And there is that kind of, braveness because it's like, like you have that confidence like you like to be more social is honestly kind of like that hidden thing of like, yeah, I am ready to accept the possibility of being rejected. I'm ready to be.
Yeah.
I'm accepting the possibility of a no, but
Yeah.
in which that could mean something. But then again, it also means that you have to like build up a yes, or you have to like create something
there
that
should,
can.
there's
build up a
definitely
reason.
more way that you can be creative with it. Yeah, because I used to work at a gas station, so I had plenty of different people coming in, and lots of guys would just give me their number and not say anything. And
Holy
I'm like,
shit.
you expect me to use this number you just gave
Right.
me? But then there were people that were very, very sweet and charming
Right.
in the way that they would present. It's all
The way
in the
that I
energy.
am.
That's why
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just like David, where it's like I think it is all in like the energy of something, and that is really what is like the sexual attraction thing of just like what's the energy here, and can I play with it? Can we play with? Is it creative? Is it boring? Like that kind
And
of.
this gets at
Yeah.
the Bava chakra animals, the rooster on social, and that being the right hand side and sort of masculine. Well, the rooster is a cock, right? He's cocky, right? And so that's sort of a part of that whole. That's part of. Again, broad brush strokes here, but like, that's part of what keeps the whole mating cycle going is that men are stupidly confident. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
the guys are the ones. Girls are the ones that are. There's that guy Robert Bly, who wrote Iron John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to give talks on different things, and one thing he said was something like, every woman has on her shoulder a woman saying, you don't look very good today. You're kind of fat, or that kind of thing. And every guy has on his shoulder a guy saying, you're pretty cute.
Wow.
You should go, go up to her.
That's incredible.
So
That is incredible.
I'm like I haven't like
Got some of that. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's like
Well, but that's the thing. I think that's where, like, it's interesting to break, like, gender
Sure, yeah.
stereotypes. Like, there's tons of assertive
Oh,
women,
for
and
sure.
right.
there's tons of withdrawn
Totally,
men that
totally.
that have the flip of that, and that's why it's so
Yeah.
interesting. Even just knowing the Enneagram, like how many people who are more feminine who are sevens, that it's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
whoa, like that kind of like assertive, just like in your, like, they're gonna be the
Yeah, yeah.
charismatic, like
Yeah.
interesting. Like, I think it is more about just the energy that is embodied in a person regardless of their gender, from when they were like their personality and like their instinct
Mhm.
mixing from when they're young up until
Right,
like
right.
now, or however old you are. That it's like it's the energy that you're in, it's
Yeah.
not necessarily the gender.
You could say
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
you could say that, I mean, and this probably is almost scientifically true or whatever, that there's two poles, masculine, feminine, and then within each of those is a masculine and a feminine. In other
Yeah, I can see
words,
that.
like you could say, like a woman who's a seven is a masculine, is can be very womanly, right? Va va voom, but masculine, going for what she wants, kind of thing, right?
Well, and
That,
that's
Yeah.
why
yeah,
in Jungian work, the boring work of the sexual instinct essentially
right.
is understanding, like, differentiating where your masculine and feminine energies are,
Hmm, hmm.
how they were actually like shaped by
Oh,
your upbringing.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
whether it be your actual biological parents, whoever was, parenting you, and societally what was being parented. And that's why I found it interesting in like all the animal stuff, this literal parenting networks in animals' brains of like what chemicals are being used in what situations, that we're all dealing with that
That's
collectively
interesting.
as well. And so that's why it's like in every individual, regardless of instinct, stacking, type, whatever, like you are differentiating your masculine and feminine parts because they're incredibly unconscious. So, like, technically everyone has an animus or an anima that is functioning through them all the time. It's not just when you're with a partner or when you're trying to get a partner or anything like that. Like, it is happening right now, and that's like influencing the type of energy you are putting out there and that you're seeking, and the type of control that you're under, like, psychologically, and therefore, like trying to control externally. Like, it's all those,
So, like,
it's
what does that look
interwoven
like
into everything.
in the context of like the thing? I'm assuming you're pinging off your notes a little bit from what the thing you saw. Or are you like
Oh,
that there's sort of a, like, what kinds of things are being, like you mentioned, I don't know, mice or something like that. That's something that
yeah, it
will
was
light up
like,
the female.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was showing that, like, depending on like the, I really have to watch it again because my notes are so vague. I'm so angry at my notes that, like, okay, neurons measured within eating, social recognition, and parenting. So there's different types of that, like, animals will have extreme hormonal shifts depending on what their environment entails, and what kind of help they have. So, like, if they are, say they have children, right, and now they're started, like, they're literally, your brain chemistry change, this is like biologically proven, your brain chemistry changes when you have children, and like your hormones are constantly changing and shifting depending on your age and your environment and what you're eating and blah blah blah. And that's going to actually change then your behavior. So, like, mice who are, I don't know, like, short on resources are going to have their chemical hormones, parenting skills change. Like, they will develop
Mm,
more, like, female mice will develop more aggression in order to get needs met,
okay.
whereas male mice, say they come and they're taking care of the babies, they will develop more receptive
Hmm, hmm.
traits in order to
Right.
care for the children, like whatever's going to basically keep the species
Yeah.
going, to keep you alive, to have literally your life force continue. You do, like, your chemically,
Right.
like, actual hormones and chemicals will change depending on what is being interpreted in the environment.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
psychologically, that's the case, right? Like if you grow up with like a really, really aggressive mom, or like a super more like withdrawn father or something like that, that's going to impact like how you see reality, how you navigate energy, what you're seeing in another person, what you're seeing in gender, like blah, 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 blah. Like that's gonna entirely impact that way of interacting with the world and your environment and stuff. Like it's all kind of interwoven in that way.
Yeah,
So
like,
I think that's what I had there.
yeah, like I'm also thinking of like some cultural influences might impact it to a degree or another, like how much you're in a bubble or something, or where you grew up in, or what you've done in childhood, regardless of parents. Like that can be an incredible influence.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yep.
We can, I could definitely feel this going into other territories. Like we could do other episodes about this. Yeah. This sort of intermingling of things. But if either of you get inspired, I mean, we only went through half of my notes.
Yeah.
Holy
like,
shit.
not
Oh, and
even.
of course your notes are so important. We need to
They
go through
are.
all of them.
Yeah. First. Yeah.
I
Just
wouldn't.
like-
Oh, that was the one thing I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind too if we wanted for our next episode that us three do something. I liked listening to you talked very briefly just about the functions in general, but talking about like the cognitive functions, like sensing, feeling, like what those are just symbolically. There's a lot of
Oh,
play
yeah.
territory
Oh
there.
yes.
Yeah.
Of
Oh, yeah.
just like like what are they, what are people doing, what are their importance, what do they kind of lay down foundations of in a personality and stuff like that. That would kind of be a fun
I'd like to talk
thing
about
do.
how much I hate FE.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
stop.
Yes.
No, really,
Oh,
it's important to
stop
me.
it.
I
I
don't
have
have anywhere
so
else
much
to go to
beef with FE.
vent about that. You know, can you just be that for me?
Yeah. It's like,
Man, God.
all of like
Listen.
my childhood war has been with FE. My seriously, like my autistic brain versus the rest of the world is basically me
don't-
against extroverted
man.
feelings. Like
I don't,
God.
I don't know why, Kristen, why you're just not embarrassed about your own existence. You know, just like,
It's like it's not against a person at all, but it's like
it's not
just,
against you at all, Kristen.
And I think too, I've always found it interesting with even Jung's stuff that he thought that the anima and animus are sometimes hiding in your undeveloped functions.
Oh, that's
obviously, because that's just
Right.
what you're unconscious of. So sort of like,
Oh, okay.
what is the exploration of understanding your opposite functions, like your demon functions in that realm of like why they're attractive versus why they're not, or something like, I don't know. There's something you could do with that.